Welcome back to the All Hazards Prepper. Today I have a great video for you on how to get information during a disaster and how to possibly get information out during a disaster or incident. Today we're going to go over many resources and tools that I have in place as a prepper that you should have in place as well. As you know, our power grid, our internet, our cellular network are delicate here in the United States, but quite frankly around the world. Just the other day, the other week, we saw a mass outage with AT&T not being able to get their customers' cellular network, and cellular was not available for several hours just due to a technical error on their part. Think about it. During a disaster like Katrina and some of these other big disasters, people were unable to talk on their cell phones or get internet or be able to, use basic communications because the hurricane had taken away all that infrastructure. So it's important for you to have some tools and resources on hand during a disaster. I'll talk about it once, I'll talk about it again. Go and get a National Weather Service radio, a NOAA All Hazards Emergency Radio. This radio will provide all the watches, warnings, statements, advisories that are issued by your local National Weather Service during a disaster or before a disaster occurs. This provides great information. I have one in my bedroom. That way I can hear it at night. I have one at work. I've given them out as gifts for friends and relatives. Just a great way to get information. Has backup batteries. Has a way to control what advisory statements, watches you get. I don't think you can control the warnings, but you can. It's very good to have. And you program it based on your county. So it won't go off, for everything that's going on in your state and the nation or whatever, just specific to your county that you're located in. Great resource. Go get it. Linked on my Amazon. Great tool to have. Another thing I have talked about before are these multi-use radios. Has FM, has AM, has shortwave, and has a weather radio attached on there as well. Great resource to have. Hand crank. So that way, you're always going to have this available. You're always, as long as you have a hand, you're going to be able to crank it. And also has solar on it. You can charge it as well. Has a siren. Pretty cool there. And for those that don't know, AM radio will be used most likely by the federal government, by states, by local municipalities to get information out during a disaster. Governments have funded AM radio and have fortified it so that way they're able to get information out. So make sure that you have access to an AM radio. Most cars nowadays have AM, but making sure you have multiple ways to get AM radio, because your car, you might not be able to use it during the disaster. So make sure you get one of these. Great resource to have. Love the hand crank function. Even has a flashlight on it. Again, linked on my Amazon. Go check it out. We'll move in a little bit more to the intermediate advanced prepper here, as we talked about in my other videos. But this is what they would call a police scanner. You can buy this on Amazon. They are perfectly legal. Just note that not all municipalities, many counties, especially if you live in bigger city areas, you may not be able to listen to the police, the fire, EMS, depending on how your county's radio systems are set up. But you can get amateur radio and ham radio. If you're not sure as a beginning prepper what amateur and ham radio is, to cut it short, it is a two-way radio used by FCC licensed radio operators to talk using a similar radio to this, just being able to talk. They have mobiles, they have all sorts of different types. It's a whole different type of community. But that radio, amateur ham, will be used during a disaster. Emergency managers rely on ham radio operators. If cellular goes down, if internet goes down, or if the public safety networks go down. So great resource to have. If many counties, you'll be able to listen to your fire, EMS, police, sheriff's department, amateur radio. If you're near the beach, you can even listen to marine radio. If you're near an airport, you can listen to the airport radio. All sorts of frequencies. It is a little bit difficult to, not difficult, but it's not as easy to, as intuitive to program. simple YouTube videos out there on how to program these. I have a bigger mobile scanner in my truck upstairs here. So great resource to have. Again, more of the immediate, intermediate, advanced prepper, but great resource to have. Another thing I have is a CB radio. Those do still exist. Many people, it's a citizen band radio. Many truckers use this. That's what a lot of people refer to this as. But not as used as much during disasters, quite frankly. But you don't have to have a license for it, so that's why I have one. I have it where I can plug it into my home. I also can plug it into a cigarette lighter from the car. About a 3 to 5 mile distance, being a range on it, depending on your location. Those types of things. But great way to get information out. Great information in. Again, not used a whole lot during disasters. I have one just in case. So these are a few resources that you can have. Again, weather radio and the multi-use radio, more of the beginning prepper, then the scanners and the CB radios and the ham radio. I guess in the more of the advanced prepper. I'll actually be taking a ham radio course over the summer. I was meant to a few weeks ago, but something happened and wasn't able to take it. But I've been researching ham for a long time. Definitely used by preppers. If you're interested in that type of thing, definitely message me. I have a little bit of resources on that. I talked to you too about that as well. But the key thing, being able to get information during a disaster. If you're not signed up for your local communities, counties, municipality, wherever you're living, their mass notification system, their emergency alert system, go on your county's website or your city's website, depending on where you're living, and make sure you're signed up for that information so you can get critical, community alerts. You'll get weather alerts on there, but many communities, put out things if there's, something going on in the community like a hazardous material spill or, something law enforcement related. Great way to get that resource as well. So, a few ways to get, information.